on Worcester News tonight, a study shows Worcester has among the highest number of homeless students in the nation. What the public schools are doing to help kids and their families. Plus, businesses are out spraying for mosquitoes. Why they say this season may be one of the worst. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. A much cooler day across central Massachusetts today, and with another chance of showers tonight, it doesn't look like we'll be seeing much of a change. Let's get a first look at our local forecast with meteorologist Tim Kelly.
Same story again today. Severe weather covering the entire state of Pennsylvania, much of the inland mid-Atlantic and the central plains. This is just a huge flood and tornado disaster. Meantime, it just won't stop snowing in Colorado. It's the battle between the cold and the warm. We're on the cooler side of the front, and most of the shower and thunderstorm activity should just miss us to the south. Now, I think this is a little underdone. We should be prepared for a shower or a thunderstorm in the next 6 to 7 hours. Temperatures are on the cool side, so that tends to weaken the thunderstorms, which are fueled by warm to hot air. It's not quite as cold tonight. Last night we were in the 40s. Tonight we're going to go down to about 50 or so. Waking up to some fog and showers and chilly weather, same old thing. And then the sun should break through. Now that'll get us to 65 to 70, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And that also means we may have a shower or a thunderstorm developing tomorrow evening. But for now, looks pretty good with a warming trend tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. Talk more about the weekend in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Tim. Using data from the U.S. Department of Education, a study reports Worcester has one of the highest percentages of homeless students in the country. Several programs in the school district work to help students in need, but Superintendent Maureen Benenda says more needs to be done. Our Chandler Walsh joins us live now with the details. Chandler.
Olivia, the study comes from the River Oaks Treatment Center in Florida. They wanted to see how cities across the country compare, and members of the Worcester Public Schools are surprised where Worcester fell. Inside Andy's attic, South High students provide clothes for thousands of people in need.
We give them everything from winter coats to socks and underwear.
The program started as teens helping their peers.
We started this because usually kids don't have clothing to wear, kids don't have things to wear, and this has name brand clothes and the kids that will actually wear it.
Andy's attic volunteers say they know some of their fellow students are homeless.
It really breaks my heart because, I wish they had something that I have. I wish I could give back and, coming here, I feel like I'm kind of helping them.
A new study says Worcester has the 5th highest percentage of homeless students in the country. Using Department of Education information, the study found there were more than 1,800 homeless students for every 100,000 people. Superintendent Maureen Benenda is looking into the data and says there's a need for more affordable housing in the city.
There's a lot of supports that we need to do for our students in the Worcester Public Schools, and we have been aware of some of the needs of our families for a very long time.
Friendly Houses' Gordon Hargrove says there are about 121 homeless students in their shelters and emergency housing. The nonprofit believes the numbers may even be higher than the report's findings.
Many people have come to Worcester as a result of the fact that we have a real good network of social services.
On top of Andy's attic, the Worcester Public Schools have multiple programs like free meals, clothes, laundry services, and health centers. Benenda says the district works to understand what their students are going through.
It's so important to deal with the whole child and for the children to realize that schools are safe and welcoming places for them.
Andy's attic filled a record 2,000 orders this school year. Both the school district and the city are analyzing the homelessness studies data. Live in Worcester, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
An auto shop owner charged in connection to an extensive motor vehicle fraud scheme is back in court. Adam Haddad is accused of more than $170,000 in theft. The Attorney General's office says the owner of Accurate Collision on Millbury Street in Worcester damaged vehicles he was set to repair. Haddad also owns ADH Collision of Boston. He was arraigned for a second time this week in Middlesex Superior Court for multiple charges, including motor vehicle insurance fraud, and larceny by false pretenses over $1,200. A Northbridge resident is finally getting the attention of the U.S. government. Ross Smith has battled the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for nearly 2 years, saying he owns part of the property many use to access West Hill Park. He blocked driving access to the park in January, saying he was worried someone may get hurt on his land. The federal agency said in a news release last week, "It has come to our attention that the majority of West Hill Road is not a public road, and there is no existing public access to West Hill Park via West Hill Road. Visitors now must park in Uxbridge and walk nearly 1 mile to the recreation area." A new program at Bay Path High School aims to attract high school students to a career in the fire service. Several departments within the school's district have a small number of full-time employees and say they are always looking for more. Our Gretchen LaRosa explains.
A new Fire and Emergencies Club at Bay Path High School aims to get students interested in a career in public safety.
When you go to somebody in their biggest time of need, typically we deal with people on the worst day of their life, and you're able to help them and at least do something to ease their pain a little bit, it really is a satisfying feeling.
Massachusetts Fire District 7 is working with administrators at Bay Path. Area fire departments say there's a big need to get more people into the fire services.
Just within the last 10 years alone in Massachusetts, we've seen a 50% reduction in the amount of people taking the state civil service exam looking for full-time jobs on the fire department. And it's even worse on the on-call side.
I'm more concerned about having dedicated students who may be looking to get into firefighting, and it will also help our communities who are desperate for firefighters at the moment.
The chiefs say they would like to see the fire departments involved with the classroom as much as possible.
Every other week when the club meets, they're not just going to be working with one specific fire department. They're going to be working with departments across the district.
There are 10 months in the academic year, and the students will be shadowing a different department each month.
We'll either make a visit to their department and they'll use the trucks and equipment at that department, or we may have the department come here with a piece of apparatus.
Several towns in the district rely heavily on the on-call personnel. Spencer Fire Chief Robert Parsons says being short-staffed is dangerous.
He pulled the hose off, went in the building, extinguished the fire with the police officers by myself. There was no one else there. And that was the day I went up to the town administrator and said, enough's enough. Someone's going to get hurt and it's going to be me.
Now, Bay Path administrators say they'd like to see at least a dozen students join the club in the fall of 2019. Gretchen LaRosa, Worcester News Tonight.
Becker College and the New England Council host a symposium Wednesday on the future of work. Panelists discuss the skills necessary for the future and how institutions of higher education can best prepare students to meet employers' needs. The goal of today's discussion was to ensure the region's economic future. Panelists shared some advice on what they're doing to help connect employers and students.
Colleges, and universities need to work very closely with our business community to figure out, what's needed so that the curriculum and these colleges and universities reflect, those needs.
We all have to adapt and change to be agile, as we like to say, because if we're not keeping up with that rate of change, then our programs and our communities become very much so behind.
Our challenge at Polar is we have about 60 job openings around electricians, engineers, truck drivers. With the fact that we're growing as a company, we're adding people all the time.
And then the New England Council is a regional business association representing both public and private organizations in the New England region. It's been a rainy, wet spring, which means we could see an increase of mosquitoes this season. Several businesses across central Massachusetts have already started spraying to get rid of the insect and say they don't expect it to slow down anytime soon. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us live now to explain. Brittany.
Olivia, Ford's hometown service says it's been their busiest year ever for spraying ticks and mosquitoes. They say they even need to hire more staff to meet the demand. Douglas Caves is spraying this yard to get rid of ticks and mosquitoes. The turf technician treats 18 homes a day and says this week has been busy.
You get your invoices at the beginning of the day, you plan your route and kind of just go and hit it. So to schedule all that and get that all done, we're kind of going 6 days a week if we can, 10-hour days plus if we can.
Ford's hometown services supervisor Matt Raftery says their busy season has begun. Raftery says they have all technicians working overtime and are even looking to hire more to meet demand.
We have to be out there when the pests are out there, and they're out there now. We've added on a few technicians in both departments. We've had more customers for tick and mosquito this year, all total, than in the company's history.
The city of Worcester will be spraying by request of residents beginning June 4th. Mandatory city sprayings will be done depending on the mosquito populations. Raftery says due to the large amount of rain we've had this spring, this mosquito season will be bad.
They need water to breed, and it's a very short window of time that they need, and it could be anything from a pail you forgot you left behind your shed, a clogged gutter. Once we get a little more heat, we're really going to be stepping up out there.
Technicians spray a lawn every 3 weeks. This is Cave's second year with Ford's. He says he doesn't expect work to slow down anytime soon.
Not only do we do mosquito and tick sprays, we're going to be moving into our next service for lawns. So they're going nonstop.
Raftery expects they will be busy through the summer. He says their next big pests are carpenter ants. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Hundreds of elementary students hit the track to compete for their schools and to promote physical education. The Worcester Public Schools held their 42nd annual Mini Olympics at Foley Stadium Wednesday. 12 athletes for each school qualified to compete in track and field events. Megan Paradis coordinated the event and says they see many participants go on to run in high school, college, and beyond.
We build our community through our kids, and seeing so much of the community come out, 34 elementary schools, and being able to hold on to something for this amount of time is just amazing.
It's pretty cool because you get to make new friends and interact with different people.
I'm learning how to be a team player and respect people.
Paradis says the goal of Mini Olympics is to teach the students teamwork and sportsmanship. New renderings of Polar Park show where the team will play when they come to the city in 2021. This July, work is set to begin on the $240 million project. The team says the state is taking a big part in the infrastructure component. Meanwhile, they're still looking for nickname ideas for the team. They will officially be called the Worcester Red Sox.
So the question is, what will that nickname be? What will it say in the top left-hand screen where it shows the scoreboard, or on the jerseys? So we've been soliciting feedback, soliciting input. We've heard some recent momentum, it seems, for Woo Sox.
And the team is set to start playing in Worcester in April 2021. Wormtown Brewery is set to open its first location outside of the city this summer. A brewery and tap room will take over Battle Road Brewing space at Patriot Place. It's part of an agreement to assume brewing and packaging operations for the Maynard Brew Pub. These renderings shared on Wormtown's social media show some of the early concepts they had planned for Foxborough. Wormtown says the facility will feature a 7-barrel brewing system. They are also working with restaurants at Pat's Place to feature their menus and make food offerings available for delivery or taken at the tap room.